Hi there, my name is Damilola Raphael. It is super amazing to be making a return and also to have you join us live on the new exciting second installment, we should call it, for the year 2022, the second episode of the all-enriching bookshelf. Today, we will be doing anthropology. It is a published collection of poems or other pieces of work of art. Let us take this break and I'll be back to take on my guest profile. Yes, we will be having a guest and it is, as I said, an enriching one. After this break, we'll talk more.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and past, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life. The world of sports is never void of actions, stories, dramas, and scandals. I guess you need a sports show that can walk the walk and talk the talk.
On this show, we answer all your sporting questions. The whens, the whys, the wheres, and even the what ifs. Sports Spring is that show that will give you that new lease of life you've been looking for in sport journalism. Join me, Joseph Atewe,
And your sports Amazon, Nengi Enes.
on this station, Western Spring Television, channel 190.
You're welcome back. At this time, let us take on my guest profile, Olanlere Fagbola. Olanlere Fagbola is a seasoned journalist having untiring passion for engaging in various forms of writing, even with serious devotion. As an accomplished author, governorship biographer, poet, songwriter, writing prophetologist, and publisher, Fagbola has published no fewer than 20 books of his own authorship, while he has edited great works of academics, educationists, and biographies of more than 30 clerics at home and abroad. For his professional experience, he has worked with reputable media in Nigeria and served as media consultant to local, state, and federal governments, as well as private and international institutions, while his poems and music have been broadcast in both the radio and television stations in Nigeria and overseas. Some of his books have been adopted as textbooks in secondary and tertiary institutions. With no fewer than 4 of his books in more than 12 university libraries in Europe and in the United States of America. An award winner for excellence in the practice of journalism, Fagbola has bagged different awards for distinguishing himself as an investigative reporter and outstanding features writer in the course of his service with top media houses in Nigeria, including The Punch, where he worked for 16 years and was the bureau chief, West, before retiring from there into full-time authorship. Please welcome with me the veteran, Olalere Fagbola. We're glad to have you join us today on the bookshelf, sir.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure.
Now, let's talk about your work. The one we're going to be focusing on today is heroism, songs, and troubles. Now, let us start with your inspiration. Why songs and troubles?
Please, could you allow me to pay tribute to the author of the universe before we begin?
Okay.
The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and those who dwell therein. For he has founded it upon the seas and established it upon the rivers. Who shall ascend the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not lift up his soul toward his faults and does not swear deceitfully. He shall receive blessing from God and vindication from God of his salvation. Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek after the Lord of Jacob. Lift up your O ye gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your O ye gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come right inside. Thank you very much.
Awesome. We'll be having more of that with some spice.
That's my inspiration.
So let's talk about your inspiration.
I have a poem, Inspiration, dedicated to the God Almighty. From your seed, I have raised my tree. I have dispersed the seas into hills. I have dispersed the seas into valleys. I will go on adding to your fruits. From your fuel, I have made my fire. You have set my fire leaping up. I will set the forest heavenward and put the world in flame. From your music, I have made my tune. You have charged my hair sweetly running. You have made my space sweetly running. I will go on adding to your music. God has been the source of my inspiration. Looking at the title of that book, Heroism, that is the courage to sing in trouble. And like we say of poets, we are trumpets that sing to battlefield. So God has been my inspiration.
Let's look at the cover design, for this anthology. What's the inspiration behind the cover design?
The cover.
You're seeing the guitar.
Okay.
And the gun.
Yeah. Now, let's look at it from the consonantal principles. The word cover, I want to interpret what informed this choice of the cover. You see the guitar with a gun. It looks like a paradox. Now, you see the word cover, C-O-V-E-R. Looking at it consonantally, that C is K in Yoruba, that V becomes W in Yoruba. That is Kowe, Kawe. In Hausa, that's Kofa, door. And then also in Yoruba, Hausa parlance, we say Kowa, Talakawa, meaning the door to my book, that is a door to the book. Again, that Kawe, that is you are going to read.
Okay.
And then the Kowa Talakawa means it's for the poor people. Why is it for the poor people? We look at the background history of translators or interpreters. When the Bible was first written in scrolls, only the priests did read, but the commoners, they didn't. They couldn't afford it. So these translators like Loda and one of the fathers brought it up to the streets for the common people. Even they dramatize it. When you look at church building, you see the blind, they wrote it there. So it's for the common people. That book is for commoners. That's why I say it's for the Talakawa. And then the gun. You see, there's one. Look at the white smoke. He passed over time to the burglar of that. This is an act to turn men into rags. But it's high time we woke up from death to take action. So we are taking action by this cover.
We already took your profile, and you acclaim yourself as a prophetologist.
Okay.
And I mean, you're seeing all of that, the blend of the music and war. All right, let's move on now.
Okay.
The very first song here in this anthology, Heroism, the song of heroism. Okay. You said, you are not writing this book, or your job is not to defend heroism, but to present it. So talk to us about the song of heroism. Okay.
And allowing heroism to defend itself. You see, heroism, I had admission from the JAM, provisional admission. That was 1979 to read BA in English. But the Lord told me before I left Kainji Dam, where I was teaching instructor in music and dance and movement. The Lord told me, he said, if you get to Ife and you are not admitted, I have the provisional admission from JAM. My cutoff mark was very high. Why wouldn't I be admitted? He said, perchance you are not admitted. What will you do? I said, I will praise you. And behold, when I got there, somebody whispered to me that I have credit in literature, economics, and other subjects, but no credit in English. That I may not be taken. Okay. And I didn't like, lobbying and doing all that kind of thing. It became obvious that I would not be taken. Okay. So I left. I trekked from the Department of, I forgot where we had the interview. I trekked there to the main gate. I was singing. I was praising the Lord. And that was the time I began to write verses. So I say it is the courage to sing in trouble. And then I gave myself the best education, which Walter Scott says is the education you give to yourself. I continued to visit the library and educated myself. Maybe about 4 or 5 years later, Professor, I forgot his name now, who was the head of department, was the chairman at the launching of my second book, that is Journalists and the Hand of God. Okay. He made some remarks. He said, if we had admitted you to the university, you may not have become an author. And see, so I have been a student within my house. I read London School of Journalism. I studied journalism as a self-educated person. And I thank God my books are being used in the universities. And so that was the genesis. Okay. I began to write poetry since then. The muse became my darling, and I was writing verses upon verses. So the rest I studied online. Okay. Without without the four walls.
Okay, so that's the representation of the Song of Heroism.
Yes.
All right, we have in the beginning was the song. You will be taking us up on that much later in due course. But let's look at Songs of Remembrance.
Songs of...
It's quite a lengthy one, you know, but there is this part, you know, where you talked about failure, being an orphan, and success, having many parents.
Many parents. Many parents. Okay, the title of that article, that poem, what was the title? Is it the beginning?
Song of Remembrance, on the Song of Remembrance.
Okay, Song of Remembrance. That is, you see, it was, or it is to correct the impression. When we say, you are the son, remember the son of whom you are.
Yeah.
People often refer to son of whom they are as their biological parents. I was trying to correct that impression. The son of whom you are is when you get to the crossroad and every hope is lost. And then at that point, you are catapulted into becoming a king. Then you should remember that crossroad is the parent of whom you are, so that you'll be able to lift others. Don't regard your biological parents as the son of whom you are, but that crossroad where you had problems and you were hopeless, but somehow the grace uplifted you. So you should remember there was this story of a man who wanted to commit suicide, and then he just jumped, and behold, he landed in a village. The villagers were looking for a king, and the oracle said, "This is the king." So they took him to the palace. No, look at it, transformed him to becoming a king. But they say, there is a room, you should not enter that room. So one day, he was power drawn. He said, I must enter this room. He entered the room. Behold, he landed back into his former station. If he had remembered the son of whom he was, he wouldn't have dared to be power drawn. So it's a lesson to power brokers, governors, president, that you should remember the parent or the son of whom you are when you go into power. It's formed, as a gubernatorial biographer. I put it in the biography of Alhaji Lamadeshina, who was the civilian governor of Oyo State. I've written for 3 civilian governors. So it was prophetic.
Okay. Wow. Would really have loved for us, to talk about, remember we called this an anthology. There is you said you can get this on Amazon now. You now have this together with Heroes, and it's now on Amazon.
Yes.
Awesome. And it's Heroism. It has Heroism.
Yes, Heroism.
As the
on Amazon.
Title.
Obtainable, available at Amazon. Yes. Okay.
Would have loved to talk about Ikajumo, Imo. What did you call that?
Okay.
Ikajumo. Is that the pronunciation? Just those names.
Ikajumo,
Imojuka. Would have loved to talk about them. And Polyvox.
Oh, Polyvox.
That's a blend of how many words?
Polyvox 2. Politicians and Volkswagen.
Maybe some other time we'll be doing that. Now remember, dear listener, it's been a wonderful package today. Talking to the veteran Olalere Fagbola and looking at just one of his work, an anthology right here, Heroism, Songs and Troubles. I told you we have something beautiful coming up, but remember this year we have a mandate on the bookshelf, and that is we will not just read books, we will write one. Have you started your weekly journal? I started mine, and I so look forward to the unveiling sometime in the course of the show, maybe the first quarter, maybe the half mark of the year, maybe at the end of the year. But some way, somehow, I'm going to let you just give it a peep into what my own journal, my own memoir will be. I'll be wrapping up now, and then we will be having veteran Olalere Fagbola. He will be having a presentation. Which one do you want to do for us?
Polyvox.
He's going to be doing Polyvox, and I sign out. My name is Damilola Raphael. It's Olarini Fagbola. We're back after this break. Bye.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life. The world of sports is never void of actions, stories, dramas, and scandals. I guess you need a sports show that can walk the walk and talk the talk.
On this show, we answer all your sporting questions. The whens, the whys, the wheres, and even the what ifs. Sports Spring is that show that will give you that new lease of life you've been looking for in sport journalism. Join me, Joseph Atewe,
And your sports Amazon, Nengi Ernest.
on this station, Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Let's talk sports. Let's speak the most universal language of the world.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is
Education, you give us starvation. You promise us peace and justice. You give us corruption. Nothing can cast my peace. I have peace within me. Nothing disturbs my mind. I have peace of mind. Be fair to them all, be good to them all, to those who love you and to those who hate you. Let no evil go from your mind. Do to all as you be done by. Nothing can cast my peace. I have peace within me. Politicians is like a Volkswagen. He's a very cunning human being. He crosses his way so wearily. Don't be bugged. He can run so steadily. It's like a Volkswagen. He claims he has nothing to hide, but he puts his treasure behind.